Hi, welcome to Burton's Academy. During this session, I will run through what to do if I deposit money to another business and then I receive that money back as a refund. However, there might be a difference to the refund and deposit value. So, for example, I have some motor expenses that need to be deducted. If you're new here, hi, welcome. My name's Lucy. I provide accounting top tips, Xero and QuickBooks accounting software training for business owners and bookkeepers alike. During this session, we will run through the reconciliation for deposit values. So starting in Xero, what I want to do is go down and see the transactions in relating to this deposit. So as you can see, I have transferred £500 as a deposit for the DT group. In this particular instance, this deposit is a type of transaction that I will receive back. So for this particular transaction, what I need to do is set up the who. So the DT group are the supplier. And then what is this for? This deposit relates to accountancy work. So I'm going to just choose accountancy. Again, it doesn't really matter where this goes to because I know that this deposit is going to come straight back to me. So what I then need to do is think about what I want to do when the transaction comes back in and it becomes a refund. So in this instance, I can then see that I've received the money back. So again, the who is the DT group. And again, I can put this to accountancy. However, as you can see, the two values don't add up. So actually, I've spent £30. Is that correct? Should that £30 therefore be classed as accountancy? If it should, I can click OK on both of these, and that's the transaction over and done with. If, however, it isn't, and actually I need this to be counted as something completely different, what I want to do is come and add some detail to this transaction where I've received the money back in. So I'm going to click Add Details. And scrolling down, what I want to actually do is change this very top line to be £500 because the 500 related to the accountancy work. However, the difference between the two is actually some motor expenses. So instead, I'm just going to call this motor, and then this is where I put the difference of £30. But as you can see, this doesn't add up to the 470 that it needs to. So what I need to do is make sure that this £30 is a minus figure. And that is because what we're saying is the very top line, although typically we would write accountancy as a positive number, in this instance, we've got received value. And so in this instance, when I submit this transaction, accountancy of £500 isn't a bill of £500. It's actually money received in for accountancy. And therefore, it's technically a minus in our accountancy bucket. So what I'll do is I'll save this transaction and I'll show you exactly what I mean by that. So we'll click reconcile and we'll also reconcile this top one. So now let's go and jump into that account code. And this is where we can really see what we've just done. So we'll go to reporting and account transactions. This really highlights, doing this check, it will really highlight whether we've coded it correctly. So again, I just want to open up accountancy and make sure I've chosen the right dates and click update. So now I can see that I have spent deposit of £500 and then I've received that as a refund back in of £500. So ultimately it looks like I haven't spent any money in my accountancy bucket. However, if I then go over to my motor expenses, I will then see a transaction for £30 where I've spent £30 for motor. And it's as easy as that. If you have this transaction but the other way around, then you do exactly what we've just done. However, you might use sales instead of an expense code. If you'd like any further support on this, please don't hesitate to contact me. And don't forget to like and subscribe to follow along for more content. See you at the next one.